and representatives of international organizations who have joined the diplomatic community since our last gathering. I warmly welcome you and assure you of my personal and the government's full support during your tour of duty in this country. Allow me to convey greetings and appreciations from His Excellency Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, President of Zanzibar, for your participation in the 60th anniversary of the Zanzibar Revolution. Excellencies, 4th February 2024 was a sad day to many of us, especially we members of the SADC region. We lost a great statesman, a gallant son of the soil, His Excellency Hage Geingob, President of the Republic of Namibia. The late President Geingob was a dear brother, a comrade and a friend to many. He was a true Pan-Africanist, visionary leader, a freedom fighter, and one among the pivotal figures who led Namibia's role to independence. We in Tanzania share Namibia's grief and join our brothers to mourn the loss of this great statesman. We pray that the Almighty God give the people of Namibia and his family strength to endure this great loss. And in this regard, may I now request you to all stand up and join me in observing a moment of silence in the memory of His Excellency. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Thank you. May I also convey our best wishes to His Excellency Nangolo Mbumba for his assumption of the presidency, and I assure him of our support and cooperation. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, just like the past year, the year 2023 had its challenges, but we managed to sail through, remaining stable, peaceful, and united. This year, Tanzania will mark yet another milestone in its realization of the fundamental human rights of freedom to participate in public affairs and upholding democracy by holding local government elections. Will ensure democratic space is open for all, adhere to the rule of law and good governance, will be maintained by all and at all times during the elections. To ensure free and fair elections, I formed an independent task force to review and advise on necessary reforms in the entire political ecosystems in the country. The task force submitted its report last year, and most of its recommendations revolved around increasing transparency in the electoral processes, including the appointment of the chairman of the Electoral Commission. Another recommendation was on the change and naming of the electoral body to reflect its independency. And so we have a new name, Tume Huru ya Uchaguzi. And most of the recommendations received were accepted by government and all stakeholders involved, and these include the most considered controversial items. Among the few items that were deferred, directly or indirectly, were contrary to the Constitution and thus will be taken up during the Constitution review process in due course. In order for the accepted recommendation to have the force of law, we drafted and tabled to the Parliament 3 bills aiming at addressing recommendations by the task force. And recently, the Parliament debated on the bills, and on 2nd of February this year, the bill secured an approval. And I will accent the bill into law in the due course. With these reforms in place, we'll ensure elections are held in a free and fair manner within an agreed institutional framework. Rest assured that peace and security will prevail at all times and at all costs. We'll embrace opportunities for constructive engagements with your governments in line with our Constitution, national values, sovereignty, equality, and our national unity and cohesion. As usual, we expect strict adherence to the diplomatic customs and code of conduct, and foreign electoral interference is not expected. This year, 2024, our union will mark 60 years since its establishment. This will serve as an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment not only to our union, but also to the aspirations of the union to improve the lives and livelihoods of Tanzanians. As we mark this historic milestone, we invite you all to join us in commemorating this anniversary. It is gratifying to note that we will also be commemorating 60 years of our relation with a number of your countries. Excellencies, on the economic front, we are all aware of the challenges facing the global economy. Tanzania, much like your own countries, had to take measures to mitigate the impact of global shocks to our economy. We implemented robust monetary policies to ensure price stability, stimulate growth, and financial sector stability. We managed to keep inflation at 3.9%, below our target of 5%. Our GDP growth rate reached 5.2%, up from 7.4% in 2022. The national debt continues to be sustainable, with the debt to DGP ratio currently standing at 36.6%, below the threshold of 50%. Encouragingly, we got more signals of confidence in our future economic situation. Up to December 2023, we registered 526 new large investment projects in total valued at over $5.6 billion, a 58% increase from the preceding year. Out of these 526 investments, 57 were expanded projects, signaling sustained confidence in Tanzania's growth trajectory. In addition, both Fitch and Moody credit rating agencies gave Tanzania a favorable credit score in 2023, a positive step in building international confidence and attracting more foreign direct investments. We pledge to ensure the existing investments are protected and secured. We are continuing with our industrialization journey, and we have experienced a rise in key economic sectors. The leading sectors include agriculture, of which its productivity continued to grow, with the food self-sufficiency ratio standing at 124%. And in mining, we witnessed a 6.43% increase in mineral production. We have witnessed notable growth in the tourism sector, with receipts rising from $3.33 billion in 2022 up to from $2.33 billion in 2022 up to $3.22 billion in 2023. In the third quarter of 2023, industrial productivity grew by 4.2%. Excellencies, last year, 2023, the government continued its drive to ensure connectivity and connectedness between its people and regions through construction of roads, bridges, railways, and ferries. By mid-2024, we expect the stretch from Dar es Salaam to Makutupora, Dodoma, of the standard gauge railway to be operational. We thank all of our development partners who are working with us in various lots of the railway. We are grateful to FDB for securing funding for us to develop the SGR link to Burundi and subsequently connecting to DRC. This project, along with road and sea projects, is expected to contribute significantly, enhancing the regional connectivity and connectedness. Regarding the energy sector, we have been experiencing power deficits, and we have already increased the use of other sources like gas to address the shortage. In the coming weeks, we expect the historic launch of our flagship project, the Julius Nyerere Hydropower Dam. This project will add 2,115 megawatts of sustainable clean power to the national grid. We envisage that the turbines to be launched between now and March will cover the present power shortfall. In this year, 2024, Tanzania will continue to prioritize cross-border power generation projects. We have done with the neighboring country of Uganda last year, where we launched the Murongo Kikagati joint power project, and this year we will commission the Rusumo project undertaken jointly between Burundi, Rwanda, and Tanzania. We'll continue to champion efforts to promote availability of affordable energy to ensure energy sufficiency across the region. Excellencies, for the last 2 decades, our development agenda has been guided by Vision 2025, popularly known as TDV 2025, and it will come to an end in 2 years to come. The initial review of the Vision 2025 noted commendable progress in realizing outcomes, notably social services sector. We have seen the significant reduction in maternal and child mortality rates, an increase in the number of safe births at health facilities, and an increase in the overall life expectancy. We have also witnessed a large increase in the access to education, increase in the access to education for our youth, whereas the economy has grown significantly. What the review showed was that the growth was often not in sectors that would lift many people out of poverty. That's the weakness of our implementation of the Vision 2025. But we have taken note of this to ensure our future aspirations will focus on the identified challenges. That being said, we express our gratitude to all of the development partners for their support in 2025 over the past 2 decades. On another move, the Planning Commission was re-established last year, and it was tasked to coordinate the drafting of the new vision, Tanzania Development Vision 2050, or TDV 2050. Among other things, we hope the new vision document will provide some answers to the critical development questions, including the shortfalls identified in the review of the Vision 2025. We request your continued support as we prepare our new development blueprint. Our Planning Commission will keep updating on the process. In our quest to improve performance of our state-owned enterprises, Last year, 2023, we embarked on significant reforms at the Office of the Treasury Registrar, as the overseer of all state-owned enterprises. Necessary legal reforms have been undertaken to strengthen the office. The office assignment, the initial assignment by the Treasury Registrar was undertaken last year was the amalgamation of 16 and dissolution of 4 state-owned enterprises. Another major reform during the period was the enactment of a legislation on the universal health insurance. We are aware that this is going to be an uphill task, but we find it to be a just cause. Our aspiration is to reform the sector and ensure universal health coverage to our population. We are continuing with the institutional capacity building and improving capabilities of the personnel to ensure access to affordable health care, for all, in line with the WHO guidelines and recommendations. We count on your usual support in this noble cause. Excellencies and dear friends, I'm pleased with the progress made in fostering bilateral cooperation among our partners. In 2023, myself and other top government officials undertook various high-level visits to many of your countries. We also had the honor and privilege to host high-level dignitaries from across the world. Through these visits, we have significantly solidified and concretized our relations, especially on areas of priority to Tanzania, including agriculture, health, energy, blue economy, manufacturing, technology and technical know-how in extractive industry, and also human capital development. We'll ensure effective implementation of the outcome of these visits. More areas of cooperation are expected to emerge through the Joint Commission and Joint Cooperation Commissions. We value the partnership we have with your respective countries. We value the partnership we have with your respective countries and organizations, and appreciate the significant contribution in the implementation of our national development. This year, Tanzania was approved for the MCC Threshold Program. We appreciate the partnership that we continue to have with the U.S. and its contribution to Tanzania's development. We also welcome Denmark's decision to continue its diplomatic presence in Tanzania. We value this decision, given the historic significance of our relation as the first African country that Denmark established diplomatic relations with. All these attest to the reform agenda we are undertaking, particularly in areas of good governance and human rights. Excellencies, fostering regionalism is one of the key principles of our foreign policy. We firmly believe in and appreciate the role of regional and sub-regional organizations in addressing regional challenges. This is especially so in areas of trade and investment, as well as infrastructure development and socio-economic issues. Henceforth, we are determined to boost intra- and interregional trade of goods and services while encouraging free movement of people, goods, and capital. This is in facilitation of the African free trade market. The role of regional and sub-regional organizations has also been key in addressing challenges in the areas of peace and security. The situation in the region has a bearing on Tanzania. We'll continue to support regional efforts to finding durable solutions and lasting peace in the Great Lakes region. Under the SADC framework, Tanzania joined SAMIM in Mozambique and SAMI DRC in Eastern DRC as part of the military approach, complemented the political approach. Notwithstanding this, we underscore that a lasting solution will be arrived at through dialogue. As such, we will also continue to support all mediation efforts already in place. Recent development on instability in the region is of great concern to us. It doesn't augur well for regional integration and also threatens the gains made in the regional integration process. The regional blocs have to prioritize dialogue over conflict and choose understanding and resolution instead of perpetuating obstacles and strife. As such, Tanzania will continue advocating for dialogue and peaceful settlement of disputes and differences. On another front, Tanzania commends the African Union member states that successfully held elections in 2023. We are also expressing our best wishes to member states scheduled to undertake elections in 2024 and urge them to maintain the recent positive democratic momentum witnessed on the continent. Excellencies, in the year 2023, Tanzania took part in various fora seeking to find solutions to the challenges facing our region and our world. Tanzania added its voice to critical conversations in the United Nations General Assembly, African Union, BRICS, NAM, and COP28. We also hosted a number of fora critical to advancing Africa's development agenda. As Ambassador El-Badawi said, in collaboration with the World Bank, Tanzania hosted the African Heads of State Human Capital Summit and also hosted the African Food System Summit in partnership with AGRF. We appreciate your involvement in making these and other meetings a success. In the year 2024, Tanzania will continue advocating for multilateralism and actively participating in efforts that seek to address the common challenge facing humanity. In 2023, we continued to experience the devastating impacts of unilateralism, including in the Middle East. Tanzania remains fully committed and ready to support the United Nations in maintaining international peace and security to make the world a safer place or a safer place to live in. In this regard, we have and will continue to contribute to peacekeeping and peace-building efforts in Africa and elsewhere in the world. Tanzania is the 10th largest contributor to peacekeeping operations and currently contributes to 5 UN missions, namely MONUSCO, MINUSCA, UNIFIL, UNMISS, and UNISFA. We also encourage the effective use of peaceful settlement of disputes as invested in the Charter of the United Nations and for the Security Council to fulfill its responsibilities. Tanzania is concerned by the ongoing war in Palestine, which is causing the uncalled for, senseless killing of innocent children and civilians. We underscore the need for a lasting solution, and we support the two-state solution with Palestine and Israel living side by side in peaceful coexistence with pre-1967 borders. We also call for a cessation of hostilities and resumption of humanitarian aid access. I also wish to underscore the Tanzania firmness and commitment, and we continue to support the One China policy, which recognizes Taiwan as an inalienable part of China. Tanzania is fully committed to implement the SDGs. In 2023, Tanzania presented its second voluntary national report, which shows significant progress with respect to SDGs 2 to 7, characterized by an increase in food sufficiency ratio, availability of essential medicines, decline in under-5 mortality, increase in pre- and primary education enrollment rate, significant milestone in pioneering gender equality, improved water supply coverage in urban and rural areas, as well as population connected to electricity. To ensure successful implementation of SDGs, Tanzania is determined to take actions to improve further the domestic revenues while capitalizing on public-private partnership. We are also prioritizing investment in the social services sector, agriculture and agribusiness, value addition and infrastructure development, as well as uplifting the skills of our youth. Excellencies, climate change is an existential threat affecting many countries globally. Tanzania, like other countries in East Africa, faced devastating El Niño-induced heavy rains from September to December 2023 that claimed lives, left many displaced, and destroyed properties. The devastation caused by a landslide in Katesh township of Hanang, or Hanang district of Manyara, is still afresh in our minds. We thank all friends and partners who extended a helping hand during the disaster. With your much needed support and solidarity, the government was able to make prompt intervention, such as the drilling of water wells, distribution of water tanks, provision of tents and essential medicines to prevent waterborne diseases. The ongoing heavy rains have also affected roads, bridges, and houses in different parts of the country, especially here in Dar es Salaam. Despite all this, our commitment to reconstruction has never faltered one bit. In due course, we'll recover and build resilience to withstand future crises. In terms of climate actions, I wish to applaud the landmark decision of COP28 to implement a loss and damage fund, which will direct funding towards countries most vulnerable to the effects of extreme weather conditions. Moreover, COP28 provided a platform to conclude the first ever global stocktake, a comprehensive assessment of progress since the 2015 Paris Agreement. It is encouraging to see member states agree on the UAE consensus that calls on nations to transit from fossil fuels to green energy. so as to achieve net zero by 2050. We also agreed to triple global renewable energy production by 2030 and establish a fund to help developing nations adapt to effects of climate change. On our part, we continue to plant and maintain 1.5 million trees target annually, as stipulated in the manifesto of Chama cha Mapinduzi. We'll also promote clean cooking for rural women in Africa. In the context of the African Women Clean Cooking Support Programs, which I had the honor of launching during COP28. Following the launch, I'll co-chair the International Summit on Clean Cooking in Africa that Tanzania is co-organizing with Norway and the International Energy Agency. The summit will be held in May 24th in Paris, France. And the Clean Cooking Support Program will assist in the implementation of the National Strategy for Clean Cooking Energy, aiming to ensure 80% of Tanzanians use clean cooking energy by 2033. Excellencies, it is undeniable that Tanzania's outlook on the global scene in 2023 was promising. In the year 2024, we raise our voice, offer solutions, and actively participate in efforts that seek to resolve common challenges facing humanity. We'll do so while maintaining the traditional tenets that have guided our foreign attitudes since independence, including promotion of peace and stability, good neighborhood, adherence to the principles of non-alignment, non-interference in domestic affairs of other countries, upholding human rights, including the rights to develop, and promoting regionalism and multilateralism. Excellencies, it will be remiss of me if I do not appreciate the support rendered by your respective governments to various candidatures of Tanzania in different international organizations, including the presidency of the Interparliamentary Union and the election held in Luanda, Angola, in October 2023. Your support enabled Right Honorable Dr. Tulia Ackson, Speaker of the National Assembly of the United Republic of Tanzania, to emerge victorious and become the first female president of IPU from Africa. Indeed, this is a remarkable achievement and a great sense of aspiration to the gold child in Tanzania and beyond. This year, Tanzania will continue to bank on your invaluable support. Excellencies, allow me to conclude by reassuring you of my unwavering commitment and that of my government to enhance the existing ties and partnership with your countries and organizations. It is my sincere hope that in the year 2024, we'll have more enriching encounters and success in our endeavors, both bilateral and multilateral basis. I should now end my remarks as I begin by wishing you, your families, staff, governments, and organizations a happy and prosperous New Year 2024. May I now request you to join me in a toast, and if I can have my glass. Do you have your glasses? No. So we are going to, thank you. We are going to do the thumb up for the continued peace and prosperity of the United Republic of Tanzania, for the friendship and cooperation between Tanzania and your countries and organizations, and for the continued well-being of all of us here present. Thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam President, for that beautiful speech. Your Excellency, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, now I would like to welcome members of the Diplomatic Corps to come and greet you one after another. Excellencies, I would like to encourage you to be very brief. And I know. And after that, kindly please pass through that door on my left after you've greeted the President, ready for a group photo outside. So after you've greeted the President, can you kindly pass in the middle, straight outside, waiting for the President for a group photo. Karib sana. And I'd like to start with, as it is, with His Excellency Ahmad Al-Badawi Mohammed Faki. Karib. Your Excellencies, just a kind reminder, please be brief. Thank you.